A huge shout out to the overthinkers. Shout out to the overthinker. He watches the show. An overthinker. He watches the show.
Shout out to my fair too.
Inspiring.
Thank you, overthinkers.
Keep inspiration.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Much love.
Mamelo ngeke kuphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya-overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it. I've stolen that one. I've stolen.
Hey, am I even there? Am I live? Am I okay? Can you guys see me? Why do I feel like I'm skipping, man? Why do I feel like I'm skipping? But I'm here. Welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I'm your host, and this show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. For those who are here for the first time, for some reason I've got lag, but let's push through it and see if we can't get better. TikTok, let me know if you guys can hear me properly. Seeing as man, I feel like kachampa man, kachampa. Bongs, welcome. Hi, ifedile Christmas, but ifedile Christmas. I'm back on the show. So let's see what we can do today, guys. Hey, wait, see, I got it. Let me just see. Welcome, everybody. For those who are joining the first time, this is Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I am your host. The show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. It's a very interactive show. Very interactive show where you can jump in and tell me what you're feeling about whatever it is that we are speaking about on that day. And you do that by pressing the multi-guest button at the bottom of your screen, where you can press it, jump in, and we can have a conversation, and you can add your voice to the show, because this show is about you. I am not a former player. I am not a former coach. I'm not any of those things. This is a place where we can come together and speak. And of course, it's South African football first, African football second. And then, of course, after that, man, every now and then, we might go dabble. In Europe, Mara. It's not the primary thing here on this show. Okay, it's a Monday. So you know how Mondays go. On Mondays, we speak about what happened over the weekend. You know, the big three were playing. Mamelodi Sundowns lost 1-0 to Raja Casablanca. Orlando Pirates won 3-0 versus STADE. And then, of course, Cape Town City beat Kaizer Chiefs 1-0. As it stands in those groups, AS FAR Rabat is number 1 in Sundowns' group. It's Sundowns number 2, 8 points. AS FAR, Sundowns 5 points. Raja 4 points. Maniema Union with 3 points. Then, of course, Orlando Pirates is sitting number 1 on their group. One of the few unbeaten teams left in this competition. They're sitting number 1 in their group with 8 points, 2 wins, 2 draws. Ahly is number 2. They lost to CR Belouizdad 1-0. And then, of course, they're sitting number 2 with 7 points. CR Belouizdad is number 3 with 6 points. And then, of course, STADE D'Abidjan is number 4 with 1 point. Okay, guys, please tell me, is it a little bit better there on TikTok? Can you guys still hear me properly? Just let me know if anything is happening, then we'll go from there. Okay, so first game up. Let's jump directly into it. Let me just get the right topic up. We're going to start off with Orlando Pirates. An Orlando Pirates team that played versus STADE D'Abidjan in the return leg. Of course, in the first leg, Orlando Pirates didn't struggle, but they didn't finish off that game. They weren't taking advantage of those advantages that they had in that game. And then, of course, they came back for the second leg. Now, how that game played out was that Pirates had 20 shots at goal, 8 on target. STADE D'Abidjan had 6 shots, 1 on target. Pirates had 62% of the possession, completing 499 passes, whereas STADE D'Abidjan had 38%, completing only 305. Then, of course, the 3 scorers was Urile Umfukeng, 22nd minute. We had Tito coming back and scoring in the 50th minute. And then Hoto rounding off the scoring in the 85th minute. Guys, feel free to request Let's have a conversation. And we can go from there. I apologize to those watching me on TikTok. It might be jumping a little, but I hope that you guys can hear me well right now. I'm going to open it up now. Please feel free to request. Bottom of your screen, click on that button that says multi-guest. I let you in and we have a conversation about what we are seeing here. And then, of course, I'd also like to greet abantu bami from YouTube. YouTube who are also watching the show live right now. Okay, guys, let's see who's here. Pirates is the first topic, and let's have a conversation. Now, I got in a little bit of trouble because I said Guti, Pirates for me, at times they need to be a little bit more professional. They need to be a little bit more professional in the sense that sometimes, man, you need to finish a game. Yeah, when people are lying down and they're open, you need to finish that game. STADE Bijan didn't have a defense in that game. They weren't playing well in that game. They weren't defending well in that game. And you could tell from that first goal that was scored. STADE Bijan didn't have that much of an attacking presence. That's why Abos BC looked so great in that game, as well as Makaula in the midfield. They weren't really troubled. To say there was number 10 Wabo Ukore, who was trying on the left-hand side but couldn't do much. He was trying to exploit that space that was left on the left-hand side of STADE Bijan's attack. That was left because Van Rooyen uyahamba. As I'm right back with Pirates, Bas Fanel, Van Rooyen, Libito, Munyane, Shandu when he plays there. Bas Hambela, and sometimes it puts the defense under pressure. But when you're playing against a team that is not willing to come and play the game with you, or is not good enough, frankly, to come play the game with you, you do get a little bit of rest. Guys, hey, I don't know what's happening. I am freezing here on TikTok. So let me keep trying, and then we will see what's going to happen. I'll be reading the comments as we go along. Kare, my technology is still on holiday for some reason. Okay, let me see what's happening there in the comments. The show is back, Christmas. Agent, my friend, we're back. We can hear you clearly. Black Viper says we can hear. Yeah, I'm just trying to get people in. Okay, there we go. I think we're good. Pirates first, guys. Pirates first. That is what we're speaking about. Hey, January, guys. January. Sapetoma papalazi. We Christmas. We Christmas. We festive. Let's see who is here with me. Takababa.
Bafo.
Sobuyile.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Feels like it's still December.
Last isikhuluma bushawa i-network lapha emakhaya ungena nje ukucelebrate. Ungena nje ukucelebrate usibonise ukuthi iPirates yakho yawina.
Hayi bekufanele phela uma ngingangena ngabe kuzongena bani. Angithi phela ngimele ngitshengise izitha ukuthi hayi sisasekhona noma ningathini.
Okay.
Network or no network.
Baba, ngena kuyo man. Na indaba and we need 3-0 versus STADE Bijan. How do you feel about the game?
Hey, yazi bekumnandi kubasemakhaya ushaya umoya ngithi ngiyabuya lana. Hey, ngithola ngizwa ama-analyst ngithi ngiyangena nje enkundleni zokuxhumana. Hey, ama-analyst akwatile man.
Oh.
Ma-analyst yakwatile ngaphandle. Akhuluma ngokuthi hey, ama-North African badlala udoti man, badlala udoti but hey, ngesikhathi sikaRulani Sundowns was dominant.
Yeah.
And now they're playing game ekwatile.
Hayi marangena kule yakho hayi badvelile ba 3-0 niwinile. Ungakhulumi ngamanye abantu man.
Ake sikhuluma ngayo le ndaba lokwathiwa thina asinaso isipiliyoni. Hey, isipiliyoni sizobashaya hleli phezulu thina manje.
Yeah.
Phezulu. Singanaso isipiliyoni, sidlala ngendlela right ngendlela edlala ngakhona. We are just using tactics or tech bank cup draw whatever niyasiyeka thina lapha. Thina ke sidlala yethu indima sayiqothozela kancane. So sifike lapha esiyakhona. Ngoba yabona squatisa abantu. And le ndaba yendlo nama-analyst bese nithuka ama-player amanye ama-team niwabiza ngawo kayihlobo yamagama. Maka ama-team wenu anisho kanjalo sinibhekile njalo. Sinibhekile kodwa
Uthi mina ungathi ndina ama-analyst. Don't say you guys.
Negenge yakho uyayazi musa.
Mina ngisi media veli, like si media veli.
Kuzolunga. Sisabuyile. Ngolesithathu futhi sithola ngokwethu sihlala phezulu futhi kodwa coming to the game man baba. Fantastic jokes aside. I'm happy about the win. And I'm happy about the application of the guys. But I'm still worried, especially with the game that is coming. Yes, yeah, Bulezat.
Yeah, believe that, yeah.
Our defense aerially, CBC and Nusisan, they are still suspect. So if they can fix that, because if you can look at that team when we played against them, especially Morocco at that time, they were threatening aerially and they even scored in that way. So simnandi move lapana, but that's especially aerially, because sometimes umfana omncane usesa timing is hard. But if they can just fix that, because I think Baz was a strategy on this weekend, and yeah, moving forward is sesaphelele, and yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with the application. Nama player the way as taking chances when we are given, especially the likes of Abu Zola, Abu Radio Pane, and the other guys coming in and just getting game time now, because we're still gonna need them. It's Kati Masama, because we're gonna have a long second half of the season. But gonna so far so good. Asna scala, asna scala. I'm going to compete against him. I'm not buy a corner there, language. So it's right. We are okay. We're
defense. How do you feel about Van Rooyen? How do you feel about that right hand side? Yeah, no Van Rooyen, Nonkota, especially seeing that Uhoto man, ngathi ni menzi all saver, then he has to pop up ngale. Nibe itri ngale side nga right. How do you feel about that whole defense? Ngoba I know you besikhuluma ngomonyani, sikhuluma ngoshandu ngale sub. Esiyenza all the time. Do you think that Van Rooyen has improved, or is there maybe a risk ukuthi banganibamba njenge Stellenbosch?
No. I mean, I wait to find out. The only thing that makes me happy, do you know me? I've always judged my defenders based on their primary responsibilities, of which is to defend. Yeah. I might not care too much about whether Van Rooyen is supporting Unkota moving forward. No, if he's doing his primary responsibility, which is to defend, yeah, then I give. Logo gunye I sazo abda. Pagenda amalanguage we do more than football. Nase writing in position 2, ne position 3, ne 4, ne 5. Si grand. Sebenzwa ukudefend. Defend ama udefendile. Hayi abaphambili bazwenza umsebenzi kukhululeka ungawasheki wena. It's right.
And then phambili velile. Uthini ngale ndaba ka Makgopa versus Mabasa. Umabasa ungenile last this game. Yeah. It didn't have that much of an impact, Mara. It was something different. How do you feel? La Papambi, Lumfukeng, Mabasa, Nonkot, added Notito.
Okay. Mabasa, at least he's giving them direction and a point of reference. They go 18-yard area. Whether you like it or not, if he's making those runs towards the goalpost, ngimfavor noba ngathiwa kunjani angeke ningishintshise kule position yami engiyimile le yenu yokuthi uyabuya ezodlala uyabuya ezomaka uya pressure akusumsebenzi wakhe loyo umsebenzi wakhe ukukha amagoli nje sifuna amagoli. I'm happy nje mina nge-contribution kaMabasa. I'm happy nge-introduction ka-radio bani bangena, because I could see ukuthi naye as much as now uyapressa, but you can see intention yakhe ukuya epalini. Le enye yama-sideways nani and pressing and nani ngiyabona abangani bakhe sebamjikela manje. Sebamjikela phela makukubi into zingahambi kahle, you tend to have so many enemies nabe bakuvuna. So but because uMabasa is giving those guys abotito borile and a point of reference when they play those 1-2s, you look at the first goal. If they come in and target and play those 1-2s, they play with someone who's already in a dangerous position. Yeah. And if he's facing that direction, even the defenders, because any touch go 18-yard area is a penalty. So they would. But my corner flag le bazokhahlela le uphumele ngaphandle kweground akunanto enzakalayo kuyayifanela.
Please mute when you come in. Please mute when you come in. Okay, no. Velile mtakababa, ithi ngifaka abanye man, ithi ngifaka abanye. Let me bring in
yeah, one thing. One thing futhi engakancane nje umfowethu Ajax ngimbone kulamalanga benginokumbheka nje umtsho uthi inhliziyo imba imfaneli man ayifani naye ndamela abe nothando njengabe lenhliziyo ngoba demo ngathi uya ngale enhliziyweni embile imoto zimbhedela akabuye ekhaya nje abe right sizoba right so supportana ngale ku CAF sidlala i-continent football simnandi hleli phezulu simnandi.
Yeah, the GNU, but it's fine. Let me bring it Montana.
Yeah, Mr. OT.
How are you, Montana?
Abuti. Hey, I'm good, OT.
Montana, 3-0, man. 3-0. Tell me about this 3-0 Pirates, man.
Hey, Pirates is cruising because this started team came. I think they came for a draw, but still again, surprisingly, they didn't defend so well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they were playing a low block or because nobody was marking anybody. The Pirates players were cruising. The only thing Pirates should have done should have scored at least 6 because those goals are gonna count at the end of the day.
Okay.
If you don't finish your chances now, you might regret it later because the goal average might count, especially in these groups going forward.
Mara Montana, Pirates maybe outside of the 8-1, they've been struggling, man. Tunga. What's happening up front that maybe is holding Pirates back a little bit? And not to take away from their wins, Mara Amakolo, it's not like, straightforward goals, man. If that makes sense.
Yeah, there goes. If you see, most of the time it's the mistakes from the back line. Even if you saw from that 8-1 that they score, there were lots of cool errors from Malumo Karans. Even on this past weekend when they scored those goals, you saw the goal from this lighty. President the 2000. That goal should have been prevented. That's a school error goal. I think the consistent from the players. There's no consistent in let's say in South African football as a whole because the player's gonna score 2 goals or 3 goals now. It's gonna take another maybe 5 matches or 6 matches to score another goal. I think the consistency is the factor. It's the big factor from the players because not so long ago we were praising Nkota. He scored wonderful goals, but it's been almost five games now. So as a coach, you don't know where to put because you're gonna put Mabasa. Mabasa is gonna give you 2 goals. You start him the next match. The next match it gives you nothing, 0.
Yeah.
So as a coach, you don't know because at the end of the day, you're gonna bench that player. Somebody's gonna say this player is on form, but where's the consistency? I think it's the consistency that the coaches are struggling to find the perfect combination because the players are not consistent. The only what I can give a credit is it's how the Pirates keep winning, even if they win dirty or those crappy goals, but they are winning because if you, as we saw that ambulance has soweto hasn't been playing, but the Pirates have been.
Can I ask about
winning
that?
Without him?
Can I ask about that? As much as we're criticizing Pirates sport play and things like that, this Pirates has an incredible record this season. They've won so many games. They're doing so much. What is Pirates doing that is different from last season? Because last season, you could argue that they played quote-unquote better football, right? And they looked better. Mara, they didn't have this consistency. Now they're winning all of these games. Mara, even when they're playing ugly, Tito, Uko, Nageko, Mabasa, Mahopa, Talent Mbata's not there. What is Pirates doing this season, man? That's different.
I think OT the big factor that I think the players that are there, I think they've grown the winning mentality. That's how champions are. You win, you score crappy goals, you win bad, you win good, but at the end of the day, they win because they've been winning cups, even though they didn't win the league for so many years, but they've been winning those cups. Those cups are building the winning mentality on those players. You can see now Paris doesn't want to lose games, and they don't concede. That's another factor. Paris doesn't concede easily goals. I don't know what they are doing, but I think also Coach Rivero is very comfortable. His system is very comfortable on dominating teams because I don't think Pirates haven't been tested from the matches that I saw. But you know, OT, when the team the backs is against the wall, I haven't seen that in Pirates, so that we can judge, because even the level of football in Africa is dropped. As you can see, the likes of Ahly, you don't know if they're gonna win or they're gonna lose. The Zamaleks, every team can beat any team now. That's why you see the South African teams now are even better to the standard of those North American of African countries, because the standard has dropped if we face the truth. Now, as you can see, that there's not many players that are going abroad. Not many. I don't remember for the past 2 seasons in Africa, you saw the player maybe was bought from Ahly or Wydad or even in Nigeria. So, and Gezana, you know that league. It's not a popular league, but he's doing well there. But if you notice, OT, way back, you knew that on those top 10 African countries, you know that you're gonna all the players that are playing those countries, top 10 countries in Africa, all of them, they are playing in Europe. Now, South Africa, you find all the players that have been representing AFCON, us in AFCON, all of them are playing here in South Africa, in Africa. So that says a lot about the standard. Not taking away from anything away from Pirates. They are capitalizing on that, on that, which is good, but at the same time, it's bad for the football.
For time, I'm going to jump in and bring in Umalume Kutso. Malume Kutso.
Which is 70.
Malume Kutso, ke batla go botsa before I ask you your general thoughts, ne? Le ba jesang man ko Pirates, man le ba jesang, ha ona bonda, ha ona boqoki, Mbathanasio, Tito comes in every now and then. Mara go winiwa, le ba jesang kwa ko Orlando man.
I think babukela la podcast where we are told which has not depth, has not experience.
Yeah.
Which we won't match ama Arabs, which let's Al-Ahli zinzima. Mara tugu sekuthiwa when I grew up, I used to think Al-Ahli was good. Manje sengibona iqiniso. Hey, lili manje bayaropa labantu umtipemela yenze something ha. Mara Messi yathina bathi umbonile number 8 ayizima leya. Ayabanye abantu they have no shame.
Yeah.
But to be honest, Mr. Uti, I think we've got a coach who understands the players. We've got a coach who believes in the players, and the players believe in the coach believing in them. Therefore, it leads to the players believing in themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, Mr. Uti. And I just want to point out something. There's a myth that's going around, Uti. Makgopa doesn't score. Makgopa has played 18 games. Mabasa has played 22. Mabasa has scored 7 goals. Makgopa has scored 7 goals. So the myth that Makgopa doesn't score, it's unfounded, Mr. Uti. He actually does score. Unfortunately, we have a tendency to assess players after a horrible game. Just like Mabasa didn't have the best game, his last game, but it doesn't mean he's a horrible striker. Makgopa is slandered for that. Kind of King Timela started Abidjan, that away game. That's always slandering for. But previously he had done well. And we saw something against Stade Abidjan, our home game. Mabasa was bullied. We saw it. Nebamukela ball from behind. It doesn't mean he's a horrible player. It just means he had a horrible game. You understand, Mr. Oti? So we shouldn't, like, after one game, define a player and say, this is his character. You understand, Mr. Oti? And this is who he is. Numfuking against Al Ahly, it wasn't his best game. He was bullied now, but next game, Stade Abidjan, he's a shining star. You understand, Mr. Oti? So I think we get carried away in analyzing players after a bad performance or after a lose. I've heard people starting to label Tito as a backward player, a player who isn't as creative as we think.
Yeah.
What do you think now after a great performance? Do you want to say the same thing? Or are you going to say he's the heartbeat of Orlando Pirates? We should, like, at least see the threshold. Whether say a winner or say a hero, you understand, Mr. Uti? We have to have a holistic assessment, if that's the right word. But there's Zimnandi move, Mr. Uti. Zimnandi, I just have a problem with the height. The second half, that is going to be a problem. The second half that they had, Algeria.
Algeria,
Yeah. The second half that they had is going to add fuel to the fire that they bring in Orlando. I don't think they're going to try pass it around. They're just going to throw missiles into the box. However, the best thing we can do is push the game up high. Because Khanye, I don't think they have enough speed. You understand? To trouble us. And even Khanye, I think Hoto can easily outrun Khanye. So if we can play a much higher line, it'll too sorry. The crosses into the box, because you can't cross to a center line now, can you? So at least let's push it on, Mr. Otis. Push if we can at least push up if we can at least push up a defense to allow us with.
Yeah, okay. Are you still with me,
Mr. Oti.
Malumekuzo, tell me about this Paris team. Where can they take it? Because I think it's still a very underrated team right now. People are not rating Pirates where it should be. Even myself, I criticize them quite a bit, but you can't lie and say that they're not winning and getting things done. How do you feel about how the season is going to pan out for Pirates?
Well, Mr. Oti, as a Pakani, I wouldn't say Pakani is underrated. We are fairly rated. It's the data that's absent. We obviously be rated on the data that's available. And because we haven't been present or for the extended absence with CAF Champions League, people are rightfully underestimating them, if that's what we wish to call it. So until we beat Belaouzidat, you can't say Pirates going to steamroll Belaouzidat. Until we beat Al Ahly in Cairo, you have no data to say we're going to beat Al Ahly in Cairo. Unless we have the deep analysis to say their left back is weak and Mfuke was on Kenaga, so the rest go populace like Junior Khanye speaking on Jose Rivero being a horrible coach for Pirates. Yeah, understand, Mr. Oti. So for me, Simnandi, Mr. Oti. We can actually take it to the last 8. But that that game, Mr. Oti, we need to impose. We need to impose. And I feel like we need to teach Umakopa how to play when we impose our authority on the opponents, and we need to teach Umabas how to play when we wish to play deeper. Because I feel like the two players struggle on that, Mr. Oti. And it's something we can work on. Makopa is young, by the way. I think Makopa is still under 23. People don't know which Makopa has a future. Makopa is Cocomelon as well. Kill it 2000.
Yeah, I want to see. Hey, Emma Pile. He's 24. Okay, he's 24. He's still Cocomelonish.
2000.
Okay, no, but let me good. So for time's sake, let me bring in Nkosi Kwana. Nkosi Kwana, welcome to the show. How are you? Do I still have Nkosi Kwana here? Hi. Okay, let me see if I can't squeeze someone in. Guys, we're gonna get after this. We're going into Mamelodi Sundowns. So please, if you want to jump in to the next panel, please make sure that you know that it's Mamelodi Sundowns that is up next. It's Mamelodi Sundowns that is up next. Apologies that I'm skipping and doing all that stuff. All I want to say while I bring in Ntlanipo, all I want to say is very simple, guys. For me, you have to give Pirates credit. You have to give Pirates credit. The fact that we are complaining that Pirates did not finish off a team with a 3-0 scoreline. The fact that Pirates is sitting in the league right now and they've conceded the least. I think they draw with Mamelodi Sundowns. They've scored the most, draw with Mamelodi Sundowns. And they've still got, a game in hand is insane up to this point, because a lot of people were saying before the season started that, it's not riding. You know, by the time by the time we get to mid-season, the CAF Champions League will be taking its toll. What will be taking its toll? And here we are sitting with the Pirates that's topping its group, in a group that has Ahly, in a group that has CR Belouizdad, STADE Abidjan. Okay, STADE Abidjan is still new. CR Belouizdad is also a little bit new. But the fact that they're topping that group, I think they need to be given that credit. And what's really getting to me, Pirates, if now I'm being a fan of another team, I'm looking at it and I'm going, yes, sometimes they don't play well. Sometimes sometimes they're not in all the time. Mara, they win, which is incredible. It reminds me a little bit of Rulani's Sundowns last year, where we were all talking about, they're weak. Chiki, you wake up, it's halfway through the season, and these guys are going invincible. But anyway, let me bring in Tlanipo.
Are you okay, my bro?
No, I'm good, my brother. Tell me about this game. 3-0, Pirates, STADE Abidjan. Oh, Tlanipo. It seems like we're struggling there a little bit. Okay, Tlanipo.
Also okay. You know what's the difference between Pirates of last season and of this season?
Network. Imoragile. Hey, okay, Tlanipo. What I'll do is later on in the show, because we're going to cover Pirates, we're going to cover Sundowns, we're going to cover Chiefs. There will be time at the end of the show. Request a happy, and we'll jump in. I'll jump in. It seems, guys, every time I switch, it freezes. So just bear with me when I'm bringing people on, and then we can go from there. Okay, so we're going to go to Mamelodi Sundowns now. We're going to speak about Mamelodi Sundowns. So please, if you're requesting, this is the Mamelodi Sundowns section, please. Mamelodi Sundowns played its game versus Raja Club Athletic. Raja Casablanca. Raja Club Athletic, where Raja Club Athletic was able to win 1-0 versus Mamelodi Sundowns. When you look at the stats say there were 19 shots, 7 on target from Raja, and 11 shots, 6 on target from Mamelodi Sundowns. Raja had 54% of the possession versus Sundowns' 46. They completed 416 passes versus Sundowns' 365. There was a goal, 45 plus 2, that came from Benesa Benama, 45 plus 2. Then there were red cards. Hey, red cards galore. Obas got a red card in the 40th minute. Zila got a red card in the 80th minute. And then, of course, Budau rounded it off with a red card in 90 plus 5. As it stands in that group, Mamelodi Sundowns is number 2. They've played 4 games, 1 win, 2 draws, and 1 loss for 5 points. And then, of course, AS FAR is number 1. They've played 4 games, 2 wins, 2 draws, no losses, for a grand total of 8 points. Raja is bringing up the 3rd place because they've played 4 games, 1 win, 1 draw, 2 losses, for a grand total of 4 points. This Raja team, by the way, is the Raja team that is struggling at the current moment because they're firing people left, right, and center. The technical director was meant to be fired just now. There have been 2 coaches that have been moved on by this team. So you can tell that this is a Raja team that is in a little bit of trouble. But I think we need to remember that this is the same Raja that finished, that won the league invincible last year. They were an actual invincible team under coach Zinbawa, former Pirates coach. Okay, hey, I'm jumping a little bit too much. Let me let in the first few people and we can have a conversation about that. Let me go to Agent. Agent, my brother, welcome to the show. How are you? Oh, agent, can you hear me? Okay, let me go to PK. Oh, agent. PK, can you hear me? Evan. Guys in the comments, can you guys hear me, please? I just want to know. Oh, you can hear me, agent. Okay. Let me go to agent. Agent, my brother, welcome. Feel free to jump in. What is going on? What is going on here, Mara? TikTok. We come back from a break and this is what is happening. No, Prasten, we're connected. Prasten, okay. Are people falling off? Anyway, so Mamelodi Sundowns itself went through a couple of changes, obviously. Disconnect us and redo. Okay, let me see. I'm going to let in PK. PK, can you hear me? Evan. What's going on, guys? Is the TNU blocking something here? PK? Evan. Hi, guys. What's our lag now? GNU is blocking us, but I can hear you. Okay, you guys can hear us. Let me see if I restart what might happen here. Evan. Mara, guys, why is it that when we speak about Sundowns, when it's the Sundowns section, it's Sundowns Iyangvala? Why is it? I don't understand. Okay, let me start over. Yeah, I'm having a bad technology day, guys. I don't know what's going on. But as long as you guys can hear me, I think we're still good. Let's try some other people and see hore etsang. But restart the live, the whole thing. Evan, okay, let me do this. I'm going to take your advice. But he leaves Sundowns. Is that what's happening, guys? I must leave Sundowns. Is that why? Yay. Hi, Stan. Okay, look, I'll just carry on. This is what was interesting for me about the game. We'll get it back on and then I'll give everybody time. But this is what's interesting about that game. Raja versus Mamelodi Sundowns. For me, what stood out for me? I don't know about you guys, but Sundowns feels like it's a shaky team. It's a nervous team. And it's a team that is doing things that I don't get in terms of this way. Let me explain it like this. I saw a couple of things on that game that made me a little bit worried. Number one, giving away the ball. Giving away the ball out of the blue. They gave away so many balls. And it's something we saw with Mokwena in midfield because Mokwena is not a primary ball handler. Not a primary ball handler in the team. But when you ask him to do those things, we get flashbacks of his time with Bafana when it was him and Yaya's Tall. A lot of back passes. But then something weird happened. Raja came in, obviously, with a very high tempo. They came in and they were coming to rush Mamelodi Sundowns, as you do when you are the smaller team, the underdogs of the game. I know it's Morocco. I know Sundowns usually struggles. But Iraja were the underdogs. They're going through a lot of turmoil. Coach Nai has just been in for maybe a week, right? And what happened was that Sundowns coming into that game, they started trying to compete with Iraja. Raja's playing fast, Sundowns is playing fast. Corner, there was this point where on the left-hand side, defense, Nebashapadi pass in a circle. I saw Ronwen putting up his hands and asking for the ball. I saw other people complaining, man, mara guys, ipola kantalfigi lagiti, you know, and it's something that I hadn't seen. Like, it felt as though, man, Sundowns didn't have the composure that Sundowns normally has. Sundowns didn't have that thing, man, that they're bigger than the other team or better, or, you know, Masingena or Mangeni Sundowns, they control the game, right? It felt very tum-tum. And it also feels as though we're starting to see some players coming in with some egos, man. Some players coming in and maybe overwhelming guys. I use the example of Uloch at the Pirates. You know, Uloch, when he used to come on at Pirates, especially now before he left, when he used to come on, you used to see Tito become smaller. And you used to see Mfukeng become smaller, and they didn't know what to do. And I think I've been asking for Allender to come in and take responsibility of that game a lot more, because he's one of the better passers there. But it's like he doesn't want to get that ball. And then Mudau is playing with an ego, and Mokwena seems to be playing with an ego, like they're playing with that senior thing. So I think those are worrying factors for Sundowns. And maybe it goes back to the conversation we had about, you know, when you have senior players and those senior players have been lieutenants of someone, it's often hard for somebody new to come in and, you know, stella them a certain way or tell them to do certain things because they're not yours. You know, I use the example of Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho arrives at Chelsea and made Terry Lampard and Didier Drogba his more important players. Those were his lieutenants. And when he left, it became very hard for other coaches to keep them in line because they're big players. They were the big boys. And we see Mangoba came in and maybe wanted to come in with an iron fist and discipline them hard. And they pushed back against it. Remember, we had the conversation where I said, is Mangoba going to be allowed to get rid of certain players similar to what Rulani did when he got there and Abu Charlie were let go? You know, certain players were benched, certain players were put aside. He got a chance to bring in his own players. Will Ukadoso be able to handle this? Especially knowing that Ukadoso might be one of the first coaches in Mamelodi Sundowns' recent history that's not going to be given time by default. I don't know if Cardoso is going to get 3 years. I don't know how much of a transfer window or how much control of a transfer window he's going to have, because that is where Sundowns is moving towards. But now, that aside, the truth of the matter, the facts of the matter, especially versus Raja, is that Sundowns doesn't do well in Morocco. I think they have yet to win. Morocco, they have yet to, come back victorious from that side. It's draws, it's losses. They came into a very hostile situation because at some point that game became rugby. It became wrestling. Hey, to left, right, and center. The ref was trying to hold it. It was not working. It was physical. And this is nothing new. This is something that happened. So I don't want to give Sundowns too much leeway. But that's the fact of where they were going in and playing. It's Morocco, they struggle. Obas gets a red card, and then now it becomes a 10v11. So I think also you give Mamelodi Sundowns credit to say that they left Morocco with a 1-0 loss. They went to a hostile place. They went to a very trying situation and came back with an honorable loss. But then the question becomes, how many times is Sundowns going to go there and not be able to come back with points? And is it a mental thing sometimes? Because that Sundowns I saw scared me kancane in the way that they were playing, man. It wasn't Sundowns. You know, it wasn't Sundowns. It wasn't controlled Sundowns. And that might be a little bit of a worry going forward, but as it stands in that group, they are number 2. There's still 2 games to play. You have to worry a little bit about Raja now because they're building some steam. But it just means that Sundowns has to go and handle business as Sundowns has normally handled business. I know I'm frozen, guys. It seems like whenever I switch to the screen at TikTok Live Studio, I freeze. So I want to see now. Agent, can you hear me? Are you with me? PK? No, but can you speak, Agent? What's happening when you guys speak on your side? Oh, la roba. Hey, la roba. PK? Wait, Agent, you say you can hear PK? I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so while I figure that out, that is my worry about this Mamelodi Sundowns and how they played in Morocco. But to restart the whole live, or else we won't hear Chiefs. I just want to make sure of one other thing. Okay, let me try. Let me try others just to see. So yeah, guys, that's one of the questions that we're gonna have to ask of Mamelodi Sundowns this year, and it is to say that, guys, as Sundowns, now that you're moving into a model where your coaches are not going to have the time, your coaches are not going to do all of those things. What happens there? Hey, man. You know what? Let me restart the whole thing. Let me restart the whole thing. Apologies, guys. Get January, guys. Get January. It seems like January has caught up to everybody. I hope we don't get Chiefs. We'll see. Don't be like that. Okay, let me restart it, guys. Please just hang tight. I'll be back in a couple of seconds. Those watching on YouTube, we're just having a little bit of an issue when it comes to the TikTok side, and that is where the audio of the show comes from. So let me just see if I can't fix that, and then we go from there. Actually, let me make sure that it's fine on YouTube too.
A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers. Shout out my friend too.
This is Parker, yeah. Thank you, overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
An overthinker. He watches the show. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers. My friend.
Phela, much love.
Tuma overthinkers amamelo ngeke kuphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
Overthinkers, thando kuphela, much love.
Tuma overthinkers amamelo kuchopho ngeke kuphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.